Okay, so as you saw by the title of today's video, let's tackle the subject again. I have spoken about this before. Mystic poetry. Now when you write mystic poetry, when you allow the inner voice to speak itself, the soul, you want to call it soul or spirit, God, you're hardly ever going to talk about love and light. You're hardly ever going to be talking about what is the approved narrative of the masses. And you're going to go out on a limb. You're going to be talking about things which are, in the past, they used to be forbidden. You were not allowed to talk about these things. People have died while communicating these forbidden words, forbidden truths. Jesus was killed because he went against the narrative of the largest religion of his time, of his geographical position, which is Judaism. So he was killed because he went against the teaching of Judaism, and he said, in words of Jesus, he said that I am God, and that's forbidden. So he was murdered for that. Not only did he say I am God, he also said that everyone is God. Whoever sees me sees the Father. Drink from my lips and you become me and I become you. He was teaching people that everyone's already divine, and that wasn't allowed. So he was killed. There's stories, there are hundreds of thousands of stories like this of people less known than Jesus. There's Al-Hallaj, a mystic, Persian mystic. He went against the approved narrative of religion of his time, of his geographical location, that's Islam. And he's saying the same thing, I am God. They killed him. Then there are 5 centuries of the murdering of women, of witches, started in Europe, and then it went all the way to North America. The last witch, I think, was killed in 1800s, middle of 1800s, 19th century in America. We got the story of the witch hunter and all this. They went against the narrative because they were worshipping the earth religion. Divinity is here. They were accused of being in league with the devil. That is to say, not the not approved side of religion, of Christianity. There's the God up in heaven and devil, here on earth. But the fallen place is the earth. So you're not allowed to make earth holy, divine. They were killed for that. So what I'm saying is, with mystic poetry goes against the narrative. It will not. The real mystic poetry is hardly ever going to go to get along with the approved narrative, whether it is religious or political. I see lots of people, declare love this and love that, love your neighbor, the Christian tradition. We are all one. There's no difference between this people and that people. And as soon as they're politicians, from their particular tribe, declare another country, evil country, let's say, they call them evil or wrong or something that they want to get rid of that. It's not just the politicians or the elites, but the whole people are declared lesser than your own tribe. The same people that have been declaring love and light and love your neighbor and we are all one, jump on the bandwagon and start to repeat the same nonsense. Do you know what I mean? The same approved narrative. But mystic poetry is not like that. It goes right to the depth of the reality. It goes beyond the narrative. Like I said in so many of my posts, where the head lets go, the intuition takes over. you could say, where the narrative ends, the approved narrative, something else takes over and something else speaks through you, the inner voice. It's intuitive. That's the feminine. The masculine is your rational mind, the approved narrative of society. The feminine is something else. It goes beyond all political beliefs. It goes beyond all narratives, all religious traditions. It goes to the unity of everything. There are no differences between. There might be on the surface differences in politics and religion and tradition, but underneath all this, there is just unity in eternity, if you like. There are no different people. We are all unique embodiments of this single mystery that embodies this universe, embodies you and me. Yeah. So I want to go back to this subject of mystic poetry again, and read to you a few bits and bobs that I have written over the years regarding this. And this is my latest little post that I did, I think was yesterday. So I'll read that to you. And then I'll give you examples of poets like Hafiz or Kabir or Rumi or Rabi'a of Basra, the way that they put things into words. It's the way that the mystic poetry goes against the narrative. The mystic poetry hardly ever gets public reading. Maybe Rumi nowadays, because there's a lot of words of love in there, love this and love that. But what he means by love, he doesn't mean the love that you think it means, the emotional love for another human being or for your own tribe. The love that he refers to is the inner self. In the Middle East, they called love you could say the feminine or the intuition, that's or relatedness. That's what it means. The inner self, your inner self, the spirit is called love. Yeah. Okay, so this is what I wrote. I wrote this a few years ago, but this is what I posted yesterday. Yeah. The best of mystics and poets are not here to make you feel comfortable, right? To be caring towards you. The trying too hard love and light. I call that love and light. The fluffers, the fluffing up of things and just sticking to the approved narrative. No, they are here to shake you awake, challenge your conditioned beliefs and prejudices, and finally make you contemplate your life direction. Its need for introspection. Yeah, looking inward. However, the two, the caring and the uncomfortable shaking, are not unrelated. Because the mystic poet writes not because they know the truth, they know what's going on. He writes not for himself or to make himself feel better or to be wider read, but to help you to be awake. That's the whole point of mystic poetry, right? And this is something else I wrote. Let's say, a few years ago as well. Soul never speaks love and light. Okay, so it's always worthwhile to remember that when you are in the service to a deeper dimension, the soul and its silent feminine mystery of the inner voice, here I mean intuition, you will offend people. It can't be helped. If you haven't offended anyone, you haven't been speaking from the inner voice. That's as simple as this, right? Hence, once you know, not because someone told you or you read it, but because you directly experienced a divinity within, with this comes the unshakable confidence to speak from your heart. You speak what it comes to you from the inner voice, from the intuition. You don't speak from your conditioned ego. The inner voice speaks itself through you. That's mystic poetry. Yeah. And you are no longer careful whether or not you're going to offend someone's ignorance. And like mystics in the past, such as Rabi'a of Basra or Rumi or Hafiz, you let it rip. And this is what Kabir said. I'll read you what Hafiz said. Yeah. In the words of Kabir, are you looking for me? I'm in the next seat. My shoulder is against yours. You will not find me in the stupas, not in Indian shrine rooms, not in cathedrals, not in masses, nor in curtains. Yeah, curtains. Not in legs winding around your own neck, not in eating nothing but vegetables. When you really look for me, you will see me instantly. You will find me in the tiniest house of time. Kabir says, student, tell me what is God. She is the breath inside the breath. He actually says he is the breath inside the breath, but I've changed it to she. Well, you know, the feminine mystery is she. And now let's hear what Hafiz has to say. It's a long poem. I'm not going to read the whole thing. How much time have we got? Oh, okay, plenty of time. I'm not going to read the whole thing, or maybe I will. Let's see. This is Hafiz. School of Truth. Oh, fool, do something, so you won't just stand there looking dumb. If you're not traveling and on the road, how can you call yourself a guide? Exactly. And there are so many guides out there. In the School of Truth, one sits at the feet of the Master of Love. Remember, I told you love, he means the inner self or spirit. So listen, son, so that one day you might be an old father too. All this eating and sleeping has made you ignorant and fat. He's not mincing his words. That's mystic poetry, right? By denying yourself food and sleep, you might still have a chance. Know this: if God should shine His light, love light on your heart, I promise you'll shine brighter than a dozen suns. You know, it goes on and goes on. But that's, you know, you get the drift. You get the drift, right? He's not mincing his words. That's mystic poetry. This is Rabi'a of Basra. She's a female. She was a female mystic, Sufi mystic. I think she lived perhaps in Syria or Iraq, one of those places. Anyway, this is what she says. How long will you keep pounding on an open door, begging for someone to open it? Exactly. How long will you pound on an open door, begging for someone to open it? In other words, you know, you have the access to your own inner voice, to your intuition, to your inner experiences, direct mystic experiences. But you're still pounding on a door, for instance, in religion or something, you know, someone to give you the answers, rather than you finding the answers yourself. You're looking for a politician to save you, you know, your own little tribe to be safe. And that's what, you know, if we haven't resolved our animal instincts or survival instincts, we're going to look for safety in numbers, in our little tribe, what we know, in our country, in our president, in our prime minister, whatever it is. And the rest are going to be the threat that is going, you know, in the hordes, the masses that want to destroy us. Yeah. So, but if you have managed to widen your horizons beyond this nonsense, beyond the survival instincts, beyond society, something else happens. Something else happens. You start to see the truth that we look like, you know, we're like plants. On the surface, every single one looks different, but underneath, we are all rooted in the same holy ground. Yeah, there's no difference. So that's what mystic poetry is really all about. You've got to be... I see so many poetry written out there and so much, you know, love this and love that. Like I said, you know, you write whatever you feel like you want to write. But I also see people, as soon as the president, as soon as the prime minister declares another people, another tribe, the enemy, the evil incarnate, they jump on the bandwagon. Where is the underneath, we are all rooted in the same ground at that time? It's all gone. The reason's gone. You're programmed. Basically, you're just programmed to follow the directions. You know, you're sitting at school and a teacher writes on the blackboard, this is what you have to copy. And you copy that without giving it a second thought. You copy that and then you repeat that. And that becomes your life. That's not mystic poetry. Okay? And this is Rumi. Now Rumi, of course, you know Rumi, everyone knows Rumi, love this and love that. In the East, in the Middle East, like I said, love is, that's the feminine side, which is can be looked at two ways. Feminine's got the two functions. It's got your feeling function, relatedness, and intuition, the connection into everything. Everything is interconnected. So with the Middle East, love was meant, as the feminine, but as a relatedness. Relatedness not so much to other people, to other things, but to your own inner self. Yeah, I call that intuition because it connects you immediately to the answers that are coming from the inner voice. In the Middle East, that was called love. So this is Rumi. You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? Exactly. A lot of these poems, for instance, that speak that go against the narrative are not very popular. For instance, Rumi's or Hafiz's. It's the other stuff, the more love and light, the fluffing stuff, where people take they take what goes along with the narrative, A lot of men, for instance, have found the Eastern religions helpful to recover the feeling function, the relatedness. So then, from then on, because the Eastern gurus talk about a lot about love. So from then on, for these men, love and light, love is everything. Without, but like I said, a lot of this ends as soon as your particular tribe's leader declares another tribe of people an enemy. Evil incarnate. That ends. There's no more love for them. There's only love for in your writing and for your name, for your particular fellows in your little group. But the other group, there's no love for that. Intuition goes beyond all this. So like I said, with the feeling function, I'm talking here about Jung's feeling functions. The feeling goes, that builds relationship one-on-one. But intuition builds relationships to everything. Everything is interconnected. So that's the shadow of our collective unconscious, if you like. Humanity is at large. The shadow is the feminine, the intuition, because it brings everything together. Everything is interconnected, no gaps. Yeah? So how are we going for time? Okay, we've got a few more minutes. So let me have a look. Maybe I have some more work by Hafiz. I like Hafiz. It's one of my favorite. Let thought become your beautiful lover. Okay. Let me have a look. Let me read this. Let thought become the beautiful woman. Cultivate your mind and heart on that depth. That it can give you everything, a warm body can. Why just keep making love with God's child form when the friend himself is standing before us? So open arm, my dear. Let prayer become your beautiful lover. So he's talking about the lover. The lover is your inner lover, your inner self, the inner beloved. That's why they call it the inner beloved. The love is for the inner self. When they speak about love, this is not love for another human being as such. There's love for the inner self, and then that inner self teaches you to have love for everything. If you don't have that depth of connection to everything, to the inner self, which is everything, it's very difficult to have connection or compassion for everything else, whether animal, nature, our earth, another tribe of human beings. Very difficult, because the masculine mind divides. It always has my tribe and the enemy. It always divides into two. Yeah? But the feminine mind, the intuitive mind, brings everything together. This is mystic poetry. And the mystic poetry, like I said so many times, it's not there to make you feel good about stuff. It's there to wake you, or to shake you awake. If you're writing mystic poetry, when the inner voice speaks, you will notice that it's not fluffing things. It's not mincing words. It will speak directly. And if you're not afraid to write that way, your work will have a lot more bite, a lot more. Should we say? It will offend people. So you could say that mystic poetry, if it doesn't offend, if it doesn't bite, it's not mystic poetry. It's really just writing for the masses, for the consumption of the masses otherwise. Yeah. Okay, that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.